What's up, everybody? It is the ZD YouTube squad here, and we are coming at you with our thoughts on this newly released Echoes of Wisdom trailer
Oh
that was
yeah.
called, like, what is it, Traversing Hyrule
Oh,
trailer or
Yeah.
something like that.
Tour through Hyrule, something, I don't know.
A
Something like
lot
that.
of
Tour
thoughts coming off of it. Let's just say standout moments and thoughts. Everybody kind of gets one, and we'll go around. Corey, why don't you tell us what's your initial, like, your biggest impression from the video?
Zelda with a ponytail, so cute. No, actually, that is awesome. But the new mechanic, bond,
Yeah,
unbond, whatever, sick. Super cool
that
applications for that.
Big time.
that was the most. I figured there would be more like gameplay elements that we would find out about. It wouldn't just be this the echo ability, but it still kind of surprised me seeing that. I thought that was like cool and unique, and it, I don't know, it makes it it's very similar. Corey, you said when we were watching the trailer, to something you'd see in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the
Oh
Kingdom.
yeah. They're using that engine. They're using those mechanics very well. And like you
Love
see
to
a
see
little
it.
bit of it in the trailer when it's like switching back and forth between the spider climbing and Zelda moving
Hmm.
over. Like there are so many cool applications of like in dungeons or overworld travel, like switching back and forth to get across gaps and stuff. Like that's so
Puzzle
cool.
ideas could go
Yeah, yeah,
crazy. Or they showed the part where they like make a hole and then they bring the enemy over to the hole
Yeah.
and drop him in the hole. Just like
yeah.
clever stuff like that that you would do in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Nico, how about you? What stood out?
I think a big one for me was just being able to see more characters. We got confirmation that Gorons are gonna be in here, which is really exciting. Um,
Yeah,
and they talked a
Marston?
little. They Barston. We got our buddy Barston. We talked about
Darston.
oh, what was
Darston with a D.
Darston? I
Darston.
bet there will be a Barston.
Darston.
I bet money on it.
Probably a
Um,
Barston.
it was just cool to see, like, they talked about the River Zora and the Lake Zora being separate, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on there?" And we saw the Gerudo leader, but we don't know who they were talking to. Um, and we're seeing like the villagers. I don't know. It's fun to see that it's going to be maybe a little bit more interactive and less linear based on kind of what we were looking at. There's the Deku scrubs, the business scrubs. There's just so it's just like a best of Zelda. All these fun characters getting thrown in, and I love that because it's a lot of fun characters that I couldn't say no to. So yeah,
The Deku
Yeah,
Scrubs look so cute in this too. They look
they
so good.
do. They're adorable. I love my Deku scrubs.
I just want them from now on, you know?
I think it all those areas showed off like the scope of the world. Does seem like we were wondering that in one of our previous videos,
Yeah.
like how big is it going to be? And it does
Yeah.
feel like still like a little bit bigger than like some of the 2D worlds we've experienced. At least
Hmm.
that's how it
It's
seemed.
it's definitely at least bigger than this iteration or the previous iterations of this Hyrule, like A Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds, because you can see like on the map that a lot of like the Faron wetlands, I think, when Zelda's in like Southern Village, which I thought was Soothorn Village, but you guys corrected me that it was Southern Village, just spelt silly.
Yeah.
That whole on the map, you can see like Southern Village, Southern Beach, and then like going off to the
Mhm.
right. That stuff is all south and southeast of like the area where Swamp Palace would be and south of Lake Hylia, which in those other games, that's literally the bottom of the map, which
Hmm.
is that's promising that we're getting at the very least we're getting an extension of that world map, which is really cool, I think.
That is cool. We kind of stand out thoughts.
Definitely seeing a lot of the like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom essence moving forward,
Hmm.
Hmm.
even just with the UI, abilities, the way the map works and the waypoints, but also with clothing and food that you can
Hmm.
Hmm.
use to,
Mhm.
you have certain effects. We got some cute accessories and clothes for Zelda.
seeing it
flippers
so
and
cutesy,
smoothies.
Yeah,
seeing it all
and
cutesy like that made me think. Yeah, I know it's like Breath of the Wild is the big thing, but it made me think of Triforce
Triforce
Heroes a
Triforce
lot.
Heroes.
Heroes,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
our
true.
old
Very true.
digs.
I was thinking about that between that and the stuff like obviously like how a Link Between Worlds they went more kind of open ended, and like you've even talked about how there's things from Skyward Sword like elements that you felt were carried over into some of the Breath and Tears of the Kingdom. And
Mhm.
I think it's just cool seeing this, like how Nintendo is like pushing their game design and like pushing it into different directions. And it's, but like, there's kind of like a melting pot of like inspiration. I mean, they've always done this, but I feel like we're seeing it now as they've kind of like experimented with this new era of Zelda. And I think it's really cool, while all at the same time being like a Nico said, like a greatest hits thing, and like
Yeah.
they're kind of even like making this world feel like the Link to the Past world, but also like there's little things like you've got in now like those new races that weren't in that
Mhm.
style of game, and you've got Kakariko Village at the foot of Death Mountain makes me think more
Yeah.
of like Ocarina of
Classic.
Time. So I
Yeah.
like that they're kind of like melding this world
I
in together.
I think it's
Yeah.
really this is like the smartest move that that Nintendo could be doing, because it's sort of maybe curbing the fear that a lot of people had that every game going forward is going to be exactly like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They're taking parts of some of their most popular games, Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time. They're putting them into a world where we can use these new mechanics and it just feels natural. We've got the side quests, we've got these fun abilities. And I mean, Nintendo's gone on record saying this is the future of Zelda. This is what it's going to
Hmm.
be. But
Yeah.
it can still feel like a traditional Zelda. We didn't get confirmation of dungeons in this, but
Didn't they say something of like
I feel
something
like
in dungeon?
I
They
feel like
said the
we've
word
seen
there's got to be.
dungeons.
dungeons already,
There's got
but
to be. Right?
I
There's
feel like
dungeons.
yeah.
choose, yeah.
When they were talking about bind, I think they even used they may have used the word dungeon.
Like
If
dungeon
so,
traversal or something. Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is proof that we can have a, those people that I dislike that say, "Oh, it's a good game, but it's not a good Zelda game."
Well, I don't necessarily agree, because I think like the gameplay is it's gonna still be like it's open ended,
Hmm.
like you're gonna solve a lot of puzzles however you want,
Yes.
and I think people who are looking more for like the specific like designed puzzle around a specific solution, like, and like dungeons that have like a specific order, I think that will still be like a turn off for them. And it's sort of like,
Possibly.
what can you do?
We'll see.
Nintendo is gonna.
I think jury's still out on that. You never know. They
Yeah.
could have implemented more like linear, but it's a cool thing that like this does even harken back to like something like A Link to the Past. That that world unlocks in such a cool specific way where
Yeah.
it's like you can access whatever you can access at any time. Granted, you have the ability to get there physically with like a certain item. Like you can only get to
Mhm.
this section if you have the power glove or whatever. It's not like locked behind a story beat. It's just you have to have gone to this dungeon first to get that item. They
Mhm.
could still have things like that where like you can only access somewhere with like
A
a
specific
bind.
echo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe you have to bind to a bird to fly to a specific spot that literally isn't accessible in any other way.
Hmm.
So I think they still could like force some linearity, I guess.
I'm
Um,
all for that.
but it's definitely going to be open ended.
A lot
They
more.
love this new open air concept, which I
I
love
did.
too. It's excellent.
You were talking about some of the elements from Breath of the Wild and Tears that you were interested in. I kind of cut you off there, but you also mentioned ingredients.
Yeah, for smoothies.
Yeah.
That's
Got
It's so
that
some
cool.
seemed
Yeah.
that seemed like up your alley. After you did all the
Yeah, I'm
wiki
very
entries of
into the cooking aspect
Yeah.
of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I guess I have a new wiki assignment now.
And I
Yeah,
have a
that
smoothie
and
for
Nice.
breakfast every morning, so it's perfect for me too.
big fans of smoothies.
Big
Yeah.
We
smoothie
should
Big
fans.
go
fans of it.
grab a smoothie for when we get the game.
Yeah, get some smoothies. Oh, that sounds great.
That's great.
So I think this is something that we've said in the past in like previous videos, but like for the past basically 10 years, right? Because like pretty much once A Link Between Worlds came out, it's kind of like, all right, we're starting to break the conventions. We're
Yep.
starting to do things different. And then you get Breath of the Wild, and then after that, you get Tears of the Kingdom. We've been living in this like space of Zelda where it's completely different than anything in the past. Completely new, interesting mechanics that totally change the way that you approach exploration and puzzle solving and dungeons, all of that stuff in the entire series. And then like in between there, they do a sneaky little, hey, but look at this remake of one of the most classic style Zelda games of all time,
That's fair.
Link's Awakening, just with updated graphics to introduce that style to new Zelda players to be like, hey, if you like that, this is kind of what it was like in the past. And now we're literally like right in the middle of seeing these two things perfectly blend together
Sure.
and seeing how they're taking the best concepts from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and putting it into something that is much more familiar. And I just feel like that's so cool. Like zooming out and seeing like the stage that we're at in the series, that's so cool. To see them taking that like the crazy work that they put into the engine and the stuff, all these crazy mechanics and putting
Mhm.
it into a format that feels classic Zelda is so exciting.
It is great for people that wouldn't normally play Zelda too, because Breath of the Wild especially. I mean, it was a good timing, but it got so many new people into the series, and so it's fun to kind of see how new people into the series get to have different creative ways of starting up a new game. Some people go straight Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and that's all they've played so far. Some people are like Breath of the Wild, they were waiting for Tears of the Kingdom, and they go back and they play the older ones or the remakes that are coming out that are newer. And it's really fun to see people's reactions to games that I've
Mhm.
known almost my entire life. And they're like, "Oh, have you heard of this game called Link's Awakening? It came out in 2019." I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha, ha. No, but yes."
You
But I
don't
love it.
know.
It's great, more people get to experience Zelda, and I think that's what matters, and it's cool. I like that.
I'm
I didn't.
thinking
I
more and more. I'm thinking we're talking about how it's a greatest. We're talking about how there's a couple ways they could go with like whatever the like world and how the lore and everything. And I'm more confident after seeing this that this is like a like it's just like hey, it's just got all these elements because it's a Zelda game. Like it's just whatever. It's gonna be like in terms of like how it connects to other games. I don't. We were talking about like what's this with the two different types of Zoras. I think there just
Yeah,
are. I think, and I don't think there's gonna be like massive lore implications or like there will be if you want to look for them and have fun, but I
sure.
don't think
people
it's
will people will come up with
yeah,
some,
yeah,
and
They'll
they're
which is
find
fine.
something.
even
That's
even
fine.
saying that, even those two existing, like you could already like tie it into
Right.
other
Which
stuff,
is
but you don't
that's
have
cool.
to. Because I think you're totally right. It is they're literally just being like, hey, this is all Zelda stuff, isn't it great?
But I am curious though what this rift is gonna be. Is
Yeah,
it gonna just be like a dark world? Like there's gonna be more to the world, I think, than they're showing us. So I'm curious as to what the rift will
big
be.
time.
Yeah, we got that little tease at the end.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they even set it up right. They were like, and there's more. What could be there?
And there's
Yeah.
only
So
one way to find out.
Maybe the dungeons are in the rifts.
It could
Or
be.
maybe not.
yeah.
Maybe there were areas like on the map where like you could tell it's entering a structure, but the structure wasn't marked yet. So it's like you could be like, oh, maybe that's just a dungeon
Mhm.
that she hasn't entered yet. But still, something that
Well,
I
cool.
didn't get a little like quick thing about like talking about other games and introducing new players and stuff. Something that I didn't think about before is that this also could, because it's maybe that's why they chose to make it in the A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds world, so that you could have people. You already are hitting the market that played Breath of the Wild. You're hitting the market that played Link's Awakening 2019, and they might play this game and be like, "Oh, this world is so interesting. It's so cool." And then you can be like, "Well, hey, if you want to play in this world again, you got two choices,
Yeah,
both from different eras,
that's true.
both with totally different things. You can try a classic version. You could try A Link Between Worlds, where they first started really breaking the conventions."
This makes me think even more so like they got to get A Link Between Worlds on Switch or Switch 2 or whatever.
I know. More people need to
Because
play that
like
game.
Love that game.
It's so
that's
good.
So
gonna
good.
be like the next closest thing to this game, which is like they seem way different, but you know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
would be the obvious, like at least from what I can vibe from this is
Yeah.
that like if you beat this and you love it, I'm gonna guess the thing you would want to be recommended is A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah,
Possibly.
Yeah.
makes
Well,
sense to me.
it looks sweet. Any final thoughts
Well,
before we get out of here?
any quick things that we noticed from the trailer? I
There are a lot
spotted
of little
some little musical instruments in the Zora area. What Jabul Waters, which is a fun little reference to Jabu Jabu, which I love. Another
Yep.
one of those. So I'm curious if we'll hear the Jabu Jabu theme in the music. But yeah,
Mhm.
we saw some musical instruments, so we're thinking Gui, you said maybe a Zora band, which I would be all for as a Majora's Mask fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
One
there's the characters, the new Gerudo characters. Looks
They
like
look very
there's like
cool.
you'll get to talk to a new Gerudo chieftain.
Yes.
Excited
Looks
about
very
that.
nice. I love the outfits, Zelda's outfits. She looks so cute. Oh, the
Mhm.
horseback. We didn't even talk about. You get to
Oh,
ride a
yeah,
horse
There's
in
a
it, right?
horse.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
That's
Well, there's
another
horses.
2 horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
saw. So I think they
Was
said you
that
can
like
customize it too,
Epona and oh, okay. I thought it was like maybe Epona and then the other one looked like Zelda's
like a white
It looked
horse.
yeah, it looked like
horse.
the royal mount or
Yeah.
whatever.
Listen,
Uh,
I'm all for
I
horse.
hope it's Epona. Like Link's gone, you gotta take care of Epona, you know.
aw.
I'm sad.
That'd be cute. That'd be
That
cute.
sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was just getting excited about side quests. It looks like
Oh
there's
yeah.
probably going to be a lot. Also, there's a tornado ghost side quest that
Yes.
I'm very hyped about.
Even tornado ghosts. Yeah.
How
that
fun.
that is sick. The side quests
We
do look
gotta
cool.
Yeah, we gotta give hats off to us for basically like predicting so many things.
So many things. We got the
Exactly
waypoints right. We
Yeah,
got
the
the side
waypoints.
quests with
The
echoes.
side quest is basically exactly how we were saying it was
To be
gonna.
fair, if they didn't do that, I would be like, what
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
if they
That's
didn't do
true.
the side quest.
This is a pretty low hanging fruit, but
Yeah.
Sure, but come on.
But we'll take it.
new,
We'll take the
new
W.
mechanic.
Yeah, the new
Yeah.
mechanic, all the things. We were right.
I one final little thing about the horse is it's another way that it's like kind of blending the styles because we haven't really got much horseback in 2D other than
Mm.
Four Swords Adventure.
Yeah, that's my only thought.
Yeah.
Something I've been saying I've wanted.
Yeah, and it looks really like good.
Looks
It looks
fun.
like
Yeah,
really fun
does look fun.
because a lot of 2D games you don't really need a horse, you know what I mean? Like
No.
there isn't like any of them you could really just like insert a horse into and it would like feel that good. But
Yeah.
this one like because you have so much more like kind of space and stuff, it looks like there's some good horse riding areas.
I'll also say that as a 2D game, that something that seems a little bit more unique is they're adding in the sort of like the NPC reactions from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where like you see Zelda do the echo of the bed at the oasis, and when she does it, you see the Gerudo go, oh, like oh,
Mhm.
something popped up, which is like
Oh yeah, I
that's
love
very
that.
like new Zelda, and I love that. Like the world is
Oh, yeah.
reactive and it feels alive, which I love.
Yeah, it's very
There's a
cool.
Nico, you
looks
pointed
great.
out when we were watching it before that there's a couple spots where you see what look to be wanted posters of Zelda.
Yeah.
Like little
Yeah.
pictures of Zelda's face
They're very
like in the
cute.
background, and Zelda's got the hood thing, and I'm very curious to see like it seems like she's wanted based on that, but also I'm interested to see how they work that into the story because it wasn't in the trailer, but there were also some additional images that were released
Mhm.
today as well, and one of them is her talking with the King of Hyrule,
Yes.
like without her hood, or
Mhm.
maybe it's with her hood, but still, like, is she wanted? Is she not wanted?
I
What's going
know.
on here?
I
We just
think
don't
we
know the
did
order of
talk.
events, I think.
Yeah,
We did
yeah.
talk about that too, that we think she might be like in hiding and doing this in secret. And so
Mhm.
there's another thing that I think we may have got right. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's only one way to find out.
Well, cool. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
I'm
Any
excited.
other thoughts? I think we're good. All right, cool. Well, yeah, game. I think we're gonna have a good time with it.
I can't wait to play it.
Looks
September
very
26th.
cute.
Very
September
cute.
Very
26th,
funny.
less than
Yeah,
2
it's got
months
a good
away.
tone, got a good sense of humor. It seems like all the kids and like the NPCs reacting to stuff,
Mhm.
like you've mentioned. Like even when they're like zoom in on them, they make crazy faces.
Yes, I love it.
Uh,
It's got heart.
all right. Well, cool. We're excited about it. We'll be doing more videos talking about it and stuff
yeah.
and speculating and all that stuff. But till then, we'll see you all later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.